The NHL offseason brings one crazy rumor after another, and we have hit the jackpot with a writer proposing 4 insane trades involving our Calgary Flames. Now, the reality of these trades happening is kind of up to the viewer's discretion, so we're going to dive into these trade proposals together to see if they have even a hope of actually taking place. But before we get into all of that, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And I want to say a big thank you to the Flames Digest family. You guys have been spreading the love like crazy throughout the summer, and I can't thank you guys enough. But let's get into what this video is truly about. Let's get into some crazy trade proposals. And with that being said, let's get into a bit of a trade introduction here. So we have an article, as we always do, and this one, honestly, like I said, it's a doozy. It doesn't necessarily show kind of exactly what might take place. Well, I mean, it does show some trade proposals as promised, but maybe I should stop blabbing and just actually not give out false promises and hopes and just dive into what we came here for. We've got the article. It is right here from the win column. It is from Luke Turner, so all credit due to him for proposing these trades here. 4 trades the Calgary Flames should make this season. So it doesn't necessarily have to happen this offseason, but maybe these trades could happen this season. We'll give it a calendar year, I suppose, to kind of keep it simple here. Let's dive in. Unfortunately for Flames fans, the team finished this season 17 points back of the final playoff spot in the Western Conference, but yet 36 points ahead of the San Jose Sharks, the worst team in the NHL. So what does that all mean? Well, basically the Flames currently find themselves in a gray area, not good enough to compete for a playoff berth, but not bad enough to claim a top draft pick, one that could help with a much needed rebuild. And that is true, but the numbers will probably be different this year. Well, I mean, no, obviously they'll be different than an exact 17 and 36 split, but look, for the first half, more than half of the season, we had a very competent D-core. We still had Chris Tanev. We still had Noah Hanifin. For some of the season, we still even had Zadorov. You know, the Flames will most likely regress a little bit more this season. Are they as bad as San Jose and teams like even Chicago, Columbus are question marks? A lot of people are high on Anaheim. I'm not too sure about them either. But the Flames, you know, should be down there. They honestly should be. Should they be as bad as the Sharks? I'm not too sure. But either way, it is a bit of a gray area. So what's one way to ensure that the rebuild goes to plan, or renovation as some want to call it, but the plans for the future to really ensure that they go well? Well, you trade away the players that could make a difference. You've seen some in the thumbnail already. Let's dive into these trades. Yes, with an exclamation point. That's just how excited we are to talk about them. And without further ado, here is your first one. Nazem Kadri. He's a player that the Flames could ship away. While it seems unlikely that the Flames will move their talented but disgruntled leading scorer from last season. Is he disgruntled? I don't know if I fully agree with that, but either way, before the start of the year, don't be surprised to see the 15-year veteran on the block heading into the trade deadline. Notably bothered by the fact that GM Craig Conroy has decided to go with a rebuilding approach rather than a retool. At 34 years old, Kadri isn't in the Flames' plans for the future and could return a decent haul. Should Kadri be willing to waive his no-trade clause, he could find himself heading back to Ontario. Is that to the Ottawa Senators? No, most of you have probably skipped ahead and already read it. You've also seen the thumbnail, but here you go. Potential trade partner. Kadri and Rasmus Andersson to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Mitch Marner. Instant reaction is, what the heck is that trade? I don't know why the Flames would ever do that. If Conroy did that, his head would be put on an effigy outside of Scotia Place, right in between Scotia Place and the Saddle Dome. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe this article, maybe this Luke Turner, who I think really is a good writer, maybe he's a bit of a Leafs fan, but Rasmus Andersson and Kadri for Marner, I don't know. Look, Marner is a great young player. Well, he's a great player. He's not exactly young anymore. He just seems young because he's a little bit shorter. But either way, he's a really good player and can do a bit of everything. Flames fans would not be happy with this. We don't want another player like Johnny Gaudreau. I think the most part I'm speaking on behalf of the fan base, wouldn't want a Marner/Gaudreau type player. Again, it didn't work for us in the past. It hasn't really worked for Toronto. So why would we want to bring in Marner, especially for that much? This trade proposal truly is insane. If you disagree with some of the titles on the channel, you can't be disagreeing with this one because this is insane. I do not see this happening. A Kadri trade? could happen, and honestly should happen. I really like Naz. I think he's such a good player and an even better person, but like it says there, he doesn't fit the plans for the future, so I'm not too sure about this. But this trade to the Leafs, I don't know. I do not see it happening. Maybe something else, but not this one in particular. Let me know what you think down below about this trade proposal. Now, if we get into the next one here, it's Blake Coleman, the other man in the thumbnail. The 32-year-old, 8-year veteran had a career season in 2023-24 with 30 goals and 54 points. What a year for Pickles, the Texas Tiger. All of which means that his trade stock is at an all-time high. Considering that Coleman's average point total during the previous 6 seasons hovered in the mid-30s, the Flames should be looking to move him while he's hot. And boy, is he ever hot. What an attractive man. A gritty two-way forward who stands out on the penalty kill, Coleman could be sought after by a contending team. So if we get into the trade proposal here, potential trade partner, Coleman to the Carolina Hurricanes for a package that includes Scott Morrow and or Ryan Suzuki plus a draft pick. Pretty good prospects, not the best. I would hope as a Flames fan that draft pick would be a little bit higher. I'm not going to show the stats of each prospect in this video, but feel free to go take a look for yourself, kind of what these guys have to offer. They are good prospects, but I'm not too sure about this trade either. I feel like the Flames could get something better, even from the Hurricanes themselves. I mean, we've been involved in trade rumors with the Hurricanes back when we still had Markstrom, and even some of our defensemen as well. I mean, we could have shipped Hanifin back to Carolina way back in the day. But either way, I don't know. This trade proposal is definitely better than the first one. I'm still just not 100% sure if that's truly the best thing for the Flames to do. I would hope for either maybe a better young established NHL player or, I don't know, maybe a better prospect. I'm not too sure. These prospects aren't bad. I would just hope that draft pick is a little bit higher than, what would normally be thrown around in a prospect and pick trade, like a 4th rounder, let's say. I'm hoping for maybe a 2nd or 1st kind of thing. But either way, not the worst trade proposal in the world. Again, let me know down below what you think about this Pickles trade. Now let's get into the next one and talk about our boy Dan Vladar. With Markstrom now playing for the New Jersey Devils, the starting goaltender job is up for grabs with the Flames. While most everyone assumes that the role is Dustin Wolf for the taking, it would cause a trickle-down effect to who becomes the backup. After signing Devin Cooley to a 2-year deal on July 1st, the Flames can likely dangle Vladar and his expiring $2.2 million cap hit to a team looking for a backup or a rebuilding squad that may be able to offer the Czech goaltender an opportunity to start. I don't know if I fully agree with the opportunity to start thing. I'm not quite sure if he's one of the top 32 goalies in the league, but we could definitely offer him up like that, and I like where this is going. Now, if we get into the actual trade proposal here, potential trade partner, Vladar to the Washington Capitals for Ryan Chesley and a 2nd-round draft pick. This is a much better trade for the Calgary Flames. I mean, just the 2nd-round draft pick I think would be really good for Vladar, especially if that's Washington's actual pick. Because remember, we already made a trade with the Capitals for a 2nd-round pick when we shipped Mangiapane out there and got Colorado's 2nd-round pick. So who knows? Ryan Chesley, not the worst prospect either. And I would happily take this. This, honestly, if this trade were to happen today, I would be happy with it. We'll have to see how Vladar does this upcoming season now that he is, fingers crossed, healthy and ready to go. But either way, I don't hate this one at all. Definitely the most realistic so far. But once again, let me know down in the comments what you think about this one. Now, the last one is truly, truly insane, and there isn't even a real trade proposal here. But let's talk about Jonathan Huberdeau. When the Flames acquired forward Huberdeau from the Florida Panthers for Matthew Tkachuk, they, along with their fans, were hoping for the 115-point score. Unfortunately, what they have gotten is a 55 and 52-point score over the last 2 seasons. Clearly not the return they are planning for. With the potential of being a high-caliber player, the Flames might be able to find someone willing to take on the remainder of his ugly 8-year, $84 million deal, which pays him $10.5 million per season for the next 7 years. Yes, it is not an ideal situation, and there are a few ways about the Flames could go this, well, just in this entire situation could do. They could retain some salary with how much cap space they have, just over $19 million as this is being recorded. So there's a chance, and I think most Flames fans would happily take any trade involving his contract and just the player that he has turned out to be. We do love him. We're optimistic about him, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if we trade him, maybe it is for the best. Now, potential trade partner. The odds are very low that the Flames will find anyone crazy enough to eat what has been deemed the worst current contract in the NHL. The market value for Huberdeau is extremely low, but anything they can get back in return should be deemed a victory. And there you go. It's hard enough to even come up with a trade proposal involving him because it's too hard to even fathom that a team would go after him. So I totally understand the writer Turner here not making an actual trade proposal. But again, if the Flames were able to trade not only just Huberdeau, but that contract, I mean, that's the big thing, is the contract, not the player. He's a lovely guy. But if they were able to do that, huge dub for Calgary, and it would totally, really show that they are in a rebuild and ready for the future instead of going with what they have now. That being said, whatever does happen is what will happen. We will just have to wait and see. There you go. 4 insane trade proposals. I can't believe that. We got through all these so quickly. It was so fun. Let's hop into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do. And this one has to do with yesterday's video about us re-signing, of course, Adam Klapka and Yan Kuznetsov. And I like this comment here from Todd. He said, I like the fact that we have some depth. Klapka is huge and skates well. Kuzi is a good size and defends well. Players like this will come in handy in the next 2 to 3 years. Let everyone ballot it out and see who earns the main roster spot. So even just as early as this season, we could see these guys up at the NHL level and maybe just be staples. It could be as early as game number 1 of the 82 game sked, having these guys up. We'll just have to wait and see. There are definitely roster spots to be won, and I see these guys as having a good shot, especially now that they have re-signed, of course. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like we saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.